Hello, welcome to Cool Trip Walks. This is your host, Tom. I'm going to turn around and introduce myself. Good morning. So, this is Cool Trip Walks. We are a channel that is focused on providing virtual scenery for treadmill walkers. And also, if you have an interest in anywhere we're going, hopefully it's good for travel research as well. So I'm going to flip it back around. And today we are hiking Fischer Farm. This is I guess a new-ish park or an undeveloped park in Davidson, North Carolina. And I'll take care of a few more things and then we'll just focus on the walk. So it is mid-October. It is 62 degrees Fahrenheit and 17 degrees Celsius. So we actually have a cool day here today. We've been getting some autumn weather here this week in North Carolina and very cold mornings. So we are at the autumn hasn't really hit here much yet, but I expect another week or two we'll start to see a lot more evidence of that. So if you're new to the channel, what we do is we go for a walk and we will try and see if we find anything cool along the way. Usually I have a little bit of an idea of what we'll expect, but today is actually a fun walk because I just know this trail is here. I don't really know the features, so there wasn't much to go on online, so we're exploring for the first time, which always has a fun factor to it. What I can share is the Fischer Farm is tied to another nearby park, which is the Abersham Park and Greenway. And we actually featured that on our very third episode on this channel. So this you could get to from there, or you can drive directly to the trailhead. It is actually a good path system here for not only trail walking and running, but I believe there's a mountain biking club as well that leverages this park. Town Resources didn't have a whole lot to go on as far as what the plans were, but it'll be interesting to see what they do with it in time. So we're going to explore. If you prefer not to hear a narrated walk, please feel free to start that playlist and happily enjoy the scenery. And if you would just like to listen to a relaxing conversation as we go, feel free to stay with me. Happy to have you here. Now today's walk is a trail loop. It's about 1.8 miles and it's estimated to be about 39 minutes. So depending on how quickly we walk it, that's probably how long we'll go today. And it's rated as easy, so hopefully, despite the elevation changes here, you won't hear me huffing and puffing as we go. But we couldn't ask for a more beautiful day. Carolina blue skies. And it's been on the drier side since hurricanes blew through the Carolinas, at least in this part of North Carolina, so the trail's not too muddy today. But I did put this hike off for about a week. We're only about 3 weeks out from Helene, and wasn't sure if we'd have a lot of downed trees or not on the path. I couldn't get any information, so here we are. Now, if you find our video here and you've been to the Charlotte and Davidson areas of North Carolina and you have any good experiences you want to share, please feel free to add to the discussion below. Happy to hear about them. or if you just have questions, feel free to reach out to me and I'll see if I can help. Can't say I'm the biggest North Carolina authority in the world, but I certainly don't mind trying to point folks in the right direction. And sorry for swinging the camera. I just want to take a good look at things. We have some good, big, healthy trees here. Look at that blue sky, I wasn't kidding. I'm going to swing the camera to the other side of the path. We'll head on back to the forest here. Now, if you do like what you see in today's video, please hit that subscribe and like button. We've been at this, I've been at this, started filming in January of this year, but so it's been almost a year, but we've only been published since April, but you know, we're trying to grow, so every subscriber we very much appreciate, every like we very much appreciate, so that would be very helpful. A little squirrel. Oh, that's a nice big tree too. One thing I've found on a lot of these walks is just how old some of the trees are. Just don't think about how long the forests have been here, especially with the agrarian past in North Carolina. You know, how much old growth may still remain, but there's some really old trees. And the agrarian part's not completely in the past. There's a lot of agriculture in North Carolina, booming or kind of growing viticulture. So a lot of good vineyards in the Yadkin Valley area. All right. We're challenged with the fork in the trail, and we're going to go on the main loop. Returning visitors will know that I have a penchant or talent for getting misdirected on some walks. Hopefully, this will be the nice, smooth forest walk loop that we hope it is. Now, I did come in on the trailhead today. I came direct to the park, and I was kind of interested to go to Abersham, where I've gone to before. But, you know, it was a little bit more of a hike from that point to get here. So I opted not to do that, just as far as time management goes today. But they're doing a lot of erosion work on the Rocky River Creek, I think it is. And I kind of want to see their progress on that. More squirrels. And off the trail here. Nice big old rocks. So if you happen to know the history of Fischer Farm and want to share that with everybody, please feel free to add that in the discussion. I don't have any history on why it's named Fischer Farm. Obviously, must have been a farm at one point, one would guess. There's certainly a lot more forest area. And one of the things that I set out to do with Cool Trip Walks is, it's great when we can go places that are really cool. We went to Italy earlier this year. We'll be going north of the border to Canada after the holiday, Christmas holiday. And, those will make fantastic episodes and trips and, experiences. But coming to a place like this, 20, 30 minutes from home, not that far, and seeing what resources you have available to you, inevitably, hopefully, you'll find something cool and make the trip worth it. And that's one of our founding premises here is you don't have to go far to have a cool trip. And that was one mighty tree at one time. Definitely home to other plants and probably animals as well. We had a camping experience as a family in one of the town parks, and they had a gentleman come out who was employed, at least part of the time, by Duke Energy, and he studies the habitats of bats. And a lot of trees, these really tall trees, or the one we just saw, are home to a threatened brown bat in the area. So for really old tree removals, they do actually try to determine if the tree is hosting bats or if it's not. And certainly a power company, when you see these power lines and the throughway here and the forest trees, would have concerns as they repair lines or extend new ones of doing as little impact as possible. But it was fascinating. Really didn't, I knew we had bats in the area. We can see them in the backyard, gobbling up way too many of the plentiful mosquitoes we have. But it was interesting to find out more about them. These are cool plants. A bit of goldenrod, maybe. At least it's well marked here. As you can see, we're following the main loop. We even have 911 signage. That's a first I've seen that. Said our location had a code in case you run into trouble. Probably handy for folks that are risking things, high-speed mountain bikes on these route-strewn paths. Hopefully no walkers would be in danger too much. We have evidence of some creek here. Probably gets a little busy for big storms. Some ferns. You can see it winding through some of these trees and the roots. Now, Davidson, North Carolina is north of Charlotte. It is home to Davidson College. That was actually the founding premise of the town. And NBA, I guess soon-to-be legend Steph Curry went to Davidson College, so they have had a good basketball program. And I read once that the students of Davidson College had discovered a threatened amphibian in the area. I think it was a salamander of some kind, which they immediately moved to protect. But again, it's fun, the things you can discover about a place. I'm glad we're here in what feels like more late summer in North Carolina versus what the calendar says of autumn. But as you can hear the birds around us, there's still a lot of life here. Not taking their winter nap yet. Pull up my walk meter here. We've gone about almost 3/4 of a mile. Guessing this will be the main trail here. Let's double check on the app. Yes, it is. A lot of squirrels working before winter. I was lucky growing up that we had a lot of forested areas around us in southern New England. And moving here 20 years ago, Certainly you see it, but you don't, when you don't go out in it, you don't realize what a good resource it is. And that's part of the discovery of this channel, is finding all these cool places I didn't even really access or use or know about. And I just think about when I was a kid and heavily involved as an Eagle Scout into Boy Scouting, and just, man, my imagination would have gone wild in a place like this. In a good way. I mean, we have a Renaissance Festival that's ongoing right now out in the town of Huntersville, and it borders on the town of Concord, North Carolina. It's one of the largest in the country, actually. They have semi-permanent installations there for buildings. And we go every couple of years. We're thinking about going there this year. It's been probably pre-pandemic since we've been. And this is kind of the setting for those places. Renaissance festivals and, gallant knights charging through the forest. Get peeks of that blue sky today through some of those trees. Really tall ones here. You know, when I set out on this journey of a YouTube channel, I didn't set out to become an advocate for parks in the sense of saying, hey, get out, visit what you have. But you really should. Just on this walk alone, I've seen two people, you know, a couple that was walking, and then one biker. And that's it. This place is all to ourselves, which is pretty awesome. So you might find you have a really nice resource, and you'll get to enjoy it in some solitude. Definitely helps to de-stress from daily life. Let you just kind of soak in nature a little bit. Get some important vitamin D from the sunshine. And hopefully contribute to keeping yourself in shape or getting in shape or whatever your workout challenge might be. Another really big tree. That trunk definitely would probably have a century or more on that. I was hoping we might find some active water nearby, but haven't seen it yet. Definitely contribute to the soundscape of this place. The elevation changes really aren't that bad here. There are some more hilly parks in the area that we've visited. This is a nice trail. With roots. Have to be careful of those roots. I think I tripped over one. Not sure if it was South Fork Trail, River Trail, or Carter Falls Trail. Yeah, that really hurt a foot. Self-booted for a week. You know, one of those therapy boots. Just to try and get it healed. Feeling a lot better now. But it's funny how a little trip can haunt you a little bit. So you gotta be careful. Pay attention. I think for our next video, well, not sure how the release schedule will go. Likely be over near Mountain Island Lake, which is in the town of Huntersville, North Carolina, just north of Charlotte here. And it's part of the Catawba River. It's a human-made lake for power generation. More spillway lake now for Lake Norman. Used to have a hydro dam there that was pulled out maybe about 12 years ago. And I'm going to hike over there because they did actually, with the vast amount of rain from Helene coming down the river from the mountains, have to, open the floodgates of Lake Norman, which goes into Mountain Island Lake. And some of the homes on the lakefront did get impacted. And then that water would continue on to South Carolina and Lake, blanking on it, but there's another lake there. And further on down to Georgia eventually. So wanted to give everything time to recede and hike there and see what we can see. Now here we have a little something that's interesting. I'm going to try to get a little closer. But this is, on this tree, it would probably be known as a burl, a B-U-R-L. It's essentially a tumor on this tree. But for those that are in the woodcraft of woodwork and turning these into wonderful creations, they're kind of prized. So this evergreen tree has a little bit of a harmless tumor. It doesn't really impact the tree. It's just something in its genetic code that went wrong, and creates a unique wood structure for craftspeople to make cool things out of. I've only seen a couple of those, so that is cool. And if I mispronounced or misspelled the word, I'll definitely put it in subtitles below. But I think I'm right on that one. Hopefully I am. I'm not being too confident here. And it's interesting about camera gear because it does have the ability to make it look a lot more light than it actually is to my eyes. So we have a pretty dark forest here because it's so thickly wooded. And it's only noon, about 12:30, so this is probably almost as bright as it gets, maybe a little bit more in the afternoon. Hopefully there's some signage here. Looks like we have a little bit of a switchback cross, fork in the road, or path. Nope, must go around. Now it's going to be probably too difficult to see on camera, but straight ahead is an outlet probably to Abersham Park, and this is where I could have come in, and that's the greenway there. Paused up past this tree. That's definitely some greenway pavement, and the Rocky River Creek is just a little bit into that thicket there. Definitely something to come back and check out, see how the progress of that project is doing. Maybe fly a drone. The greens are still very vibrant here. Haven't faded to yellows or autumn colors. Mountain bike up on the hill here. Won't be able to see it. I think he's past or he's coming this way. Nope. Well, he might be on us soon. So I'll just keep on hiking here. All right, main loop to the left. Got a big high tension wire here. And they are in the area. As probably seen in a few of our videos. We are home to a nuclear reactor on Lake Norman. The purpose of why it was built was for cooling of that reactor. So a lot of power to distribute. Looks like there's some sort of birdhouses out over that hill. Can't quite make it out. I'm going to keep following the main loop. Back to the trees. There's a nice field over there. Fun anti-erosion pathing. And if you want, you can have a little rest and take a peek up here. There's birdhouse with anti-squirrel climb. Looks like they mowed a path around it, maybe for the mountain bikes or if you want to walk around. This is a nice hidden field up here. Squirrel on the other side of this tree. Maybe going up the tree. Oh, don't see it. A little bit of the trail here. Go right through the tree and this fallen tree. I think we'll take the lower path. A little bit smoother. A bit of a step there. A little bit of a switchback. Unexpected. Hopefully nearing the end of our loop here. Been trying to gain a little bit of time, as we've certainly been doing the casual look-see on this path. And I do believe I see the end of the trail ahead. This looks like a pretty cool lane almost through the trees ahead here. Sorry about the breathing. Again, trying to push the pace a little bit. There's a bat cave loop. Wonder if it's an actual cave or just trying to tap into some popular culture. All right, everybody, we are at the end of the trail. So as always, I hope you achieved your workout goal today and that you've enjoyed some of our scenery. And if you're new to our channel, I do hope you'll come back and check out more episodes as they're released. So with that, many happy returns, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you.